True Sky Pisces, welcome to your reading for the month of June. So, the main deck I'm using for the solar transit through the sign of True Sky Taurus is the Sacred Circle Tarot. And I have already pre-shuffled the cards and cleansed the space. And on the bottom of the deck for you, we have Ace of Discs, Abundance. So this month could have an underlying energy of material abundance or new resources coming in. The first card, however, for you is the Eight of Swords. So this also will be really significant. It's the card of bondage. So it is linked to mental fears. It is the card of bondage and restriction. It can even symbolize illness, disability, or family or financial circumstances. It's a difficult choice. It's too late to go back, and going forward will bring you pain. Actions appear to have unpleasant consequences. However, these restrictions lie in your mind, and bondage is your fear. In this card, they have the stones of the Men and Toll, which symbolize healing through letting go. We all have restrictions. We all have different talents and abilities. So don't close yourself off to the myriad of possibilities that are still obtainable. Bondage to your own fears and self-limitations needs to be banished. So that's starting your reading. The next card we have for you is the Page of Discs, which does symbolize health in this deck. So some of this restrictive bondage energy could very well be linked with your health, and I would say also your finances, because it is the disc card. So here's the page, so it's to do with new financial opportunities as well. So there is some fear linked here also with this unknowable factor with the moon, and then your central card being the Lovers. So there's also maybe some fear and bondage around a choice, and linked in here with these cycles. And however, we then have the World Tree, which does symbolize a completion, and it's a good, like it's a positive card symbolizing success. So there's some kind of successful completion this month for you, and it can even involve travel, like long distance travel, potentially overseas. So the Moon card does represent also, it is linked with fears as well as this bondage card. It indicates a period of change and fluctuations where nothing remains stable or certain for long. It calls upon you to accept change in the cycles of your life. It's time for something buried deep in your subconscious to be brought out into the light. It may be that you need to let go of something, a bad habit, a negative thought pattern, a destructive relationship, or an old hurt that's holding you back and stopping you from developing as you need to. You must change your attitudes. You cannot live in the past. What does not change stagnates. The Moon is a great card for writers and artists because it helps them to bring subconscious ideas into their work, and also to use their painful experiences as well. It's spiritually also a card linked to dreams. So what are your dreams trying to tell you this month? It's also an excellent time to develop your psychic skills, and you'll be more intuitive than usual, and you should trust your instincts. So it is interesting that we have the Moon there connected with this Eight of Swords, which was about fears, and maybe even these fears could be linked with a relationship. in your life at this time, and that could even involve a choice, as we have the Lovers as the central card here. When the Lovers appears, it does indicate a difficult choice, usually in matters of love. But depending on surrounding cards, it can also symbolize career, family, or even property. Each choice you make has consequences that are far-reaching. And also through these choices, they chart the course of your life. You have to accept responsibility for what you have chosen. The choice of a partner is probably most important of all and will affect every area of your life. This card counsels you not to be too hasty and rush into a relationship or marriage before you've thought it through. Immediate gratification of desire is tempting, but what will the long-term consequences be? It's not a good time trying to blame other people at a later date for a course of action you have chosen. At this time, you need to learn that you are responsible for your own fate through the choices you've made. The results of these choices may be happy or painful, but it's through acknowledging the consequences of your actions that you gain experience and self-knowledge. The choice you make now will determine the future. It is also a messenger from the higher realms telling you the importance of truth and the purest of motives. So there will be some significant choice this month for you. The next card we have for you is the Knight of Discs. So we have the Page of Discs and the Knight of Discs flanking the central card this month. So the Page of Discs very much is linked with health and really taking care of your physical, emotional, even mental health at this time. However, the Knight of Discs is more linked to learning patience and to approach people and situations with gentleness. Practical things are really important at this time, and also being in touch with the earth. So if you can, tend a garden and your home. Also physical labor and exercise are really important for stress and to keep things in proportion. So his energy is husbandry, and he could be an individual in your life at this time who's very hardworking, patient and gentle, steady and tranquil, and also great self-control and strength of character. He loves the land and the countryside and is happiest in familiar surroundings. So could be of the earth signs. Both of these characters could be. However, the Page is a lot younger. The Page would be like a child up to maybe 18, and then this Knight would be like late teens until maybe mid-30s or something like that. The next card we have is another disc. So this one is actually the Three of Discs, which is the card of dedication. This is very much talking about collaborating with others on projects that you've already been working on to, increase your self-mastery. And then we have another figure, the Page of Wands. So this is another young character, if it's a character. Otherwise, it could be something that you are learning at this time. So it represents creative potential that hasn't been developed or is underdeveloped, and that your talent is worth nurturing. Only time, practice, and experience can your abilities be developed. So don't let others deter you because your first results are not at all what you would like them to be. So if they're an individual, they can be rather arrogant and egotistical. They like to be the center of attention, and they dress rather well. However, they are very original and creative. They're good-hearted and make a good friend, warm-hearted. However, condescendingly telling you how to live your life when their own is a mess. So that's something that they would do. They respond well to flattery, however, they're easily hurt. They make a bad enemy. And the advice is to not fall in love with them if they're already attached, because they will break your heart, because they don't deter loyalties. So the next card, we have the last card for you for the month, is the Five of Discs, which is the card of restriction. So there may be some financial or resource restriction this month, and maybe it might even be the end of the month because it is the last card here. The thing to do at these times to try to look to your community and how you can look for ways that your community could help you. Sometimes this could be, community groups, or, I don't know exactly where you are, so you would need to look into your own situation, but often they have different community groups, and maybe they can help with, lowering costs of food or helping pay bills, or other ways that they can help, depending on your situation, obviously. So the next deck that I'm going to read with is the Green Witch Tarot, and on the bottom of the deck is 20 Harvest. So there could be some underlying energies of maybe a bit of a spiritual divine kind of timing, maybe even some almost karmic energies, which is interesting. We did have the whole cause and effect, your actions and your choices leading to your future and all that with the Lovers and the central card. But also harvest does do that too, because, to harvest something, you need to prepare, and you need to sow, and you need to water and nurture, and, all these different things you need to do before you can do that harvest. So the present really does rely on the past. So the first card we have, however, is the World Tree, which is to clarify the Eight of Swords. So you have the World Tree twice in your reading. So this month there will be some completing energies. There'll be projects completing or things in your life. There'll be some kind of completion energies, and maybe even long distance travel as well. So this is for the bondage. So my feeling is that this bondage situation in your mind is going to be completing this month. It's going to be closing up. And I'm not sure exactly what put you in this bondage situation, but to me, this is saying it's successfully ending. It's closing up, and there's a new cycle opening. For the Page of Discs, you have the Oak King, and this was about your health. So the Oak King is linked to the Hanged Man. So it does represent, going within and seeking higher wisdom. However, he also does represent some kind of sacrifice that's needed. So something that you need to let go of, to gain something else at this time. And it is potentially linked in here with your health. Then we have, so maybe you might need to see someone to do with health, like a practitioner, a health practitioner, to help you with this situation, because there might be something that needs to happen. I know myself personally, and I am a Pisces. I don't mean to get into the reading. I have been thinking for a long time about going to an acupuncturist, and it's been coming up again recently. There is one here locally, so it's funny how he has the stick there. I'm not saying to you to go and do that, but yeah. So for the World Tree, we have the Page of Wands. So this is again here. So we have the Page of Wands down here, and we also have the Page of Wands up here. And it could be a child. So there could be some kind of new passion projects even completing this month, or something to do with this child, this fiery spirited child, some journey that they're going on, and they're growing. I mean, the World Tree is also linked with growth, the tree, but yeah, there's something significant here with the child this month. Then we also have maybe something in their development, thinking about it. To clarify the moon, we have the Lady and the Lord, which we already had the Lovers, so that's double as well this month for you. So maybe these fears and changes could be in a relationship. Yeah, it does seem to be saying that because they were connected to the Lovers as well. So there's some kind of significant relationship that you are even psychically connected with, intuitively connected with, that's potentially even changing at this time, going through changes. Then for the Lovers, for the central card Lovers, we have the Queen of Wands. So she is like classified as the witch of the tarot. She's a very creative feminine. It could be something that you're learning, or it could be someone in your life. So she would be like over 30, maybe over mid-30s, something like that. And, very creative, very warm and fun-loving individual. So she could be very much linked in with this Lovers situation. Maybe she's guiding you in some way, or maybe this is some character traits you need to incorporate into your relationship. Maybe your relationship has gotten a bit stagnant and boring. It's not fun anymore, and you kind of need to bring some warmth back into it to like reliven it. Then for the Knight of Discs is husbandry, which could be a character. We have the Nine of Chalices. So this is a really positive card. It talks about, having had good emotional experiences behind you and relying on that, walking forward knowing that good times are ahead because you've had them, It's a very confident card. And then for the Three of Discs, which was about this new collaborative projects and dedicating yourself to them, you have the Four of Wands. So this is very much linked with home and family. It can even represent like home gatherings or family gatherings, that kind of energy. So maybe there's some link here with your family, with these new projects, or a family, or in your home projects. Maybe you're doing some renovations. Then for the Page of Wands, which was this potential creative energy, which was saying not to give up on it, and that just because your abilities are new and not exactly where you want them to be, you shouldn't give up on them. And this is kind of clarifying that with the Seven of Pentacles, because this one's definitely saying materially here, he's quite established. He's been working on things for a long time, and he's gotten it down pat. His process, his things he's completing are all, about the same. So he's gotten like a rhythm and a routine going, and it's getting successful. So that's very encouraging. And then for the Five of Discs, we have the Seeth. So this is equivalent to like your Temperance card, and it is telling you, this is the restriction card. It is telling you that this is a time to practice moderation and look to your virtues, moderation and balance and these kind of things. Try not to do things in extreme at this time. And because it is the card of restriction, it's even more important to do that, obviously, because there is less. So by being moderate can really, that would be, with spendings and things like that. The next cards I'm going to pull from are the Earth Magic Oracle, and on the bottom of the deck for you we have fairies, Earth Magic. So that's beautiful. So there could be some underlying energy this month for you involving the fairies. Not sure if you work with them or not, but they can be helpful. Or even just, wise and help teach you things. The first card, however, we have is River Movement. So that's really interesting, because I was talking about like acupuncture and that's all about the movement of energies and, you know, the meridians and all these things. Not that I'm saying you need to do that. But we had this health, and then we had this going within to seek for the wisdom. This could be about your health and some kind of sacrifice, but it's saying movement. So obviously movement is really important for your body. So make sure you are getting enough exercise and, you know, drinking enough water, you know, eating good foods, thinking good thoughts, like all the things. Then we have new moon promise. So there's some kind of new beginning here. And this is linked with the lovers, this Queen of Wands. There's some kind of promise here that this month should be seeing. And then we have, oh my goodness, we have new moon, and then we have full moon, which is completion. So there's definitely some kind of completion. So this is with the creative projects that are beginning, and then with this project you've been working on for quite some time as well. There's some kind of completion here this month for you as well. The next cards I'm going to pull from are the Green Witch Oracle. On the bottom of the deck we have Salt, Protection and Banishing Negativity. Your first card is Sage, Wisdom, Purification and Harmony, and that's linked to the movement. So that's interesting. Then we have Earth, Peace and Grounding, which is for the promise. So this promise is going to give you some peace and help you ground your energy. And then Pine Tree, Vitality, Longevity and Perseverance. And this is for the completion. So maybe this has taken a long time. The fact it's talking about vitality, longevity, you know, perseverance with completion. The Sage and the movement. This is interesting with the wisdom, purification and harmony. So maybe like a gentle detox. I'm not saying like using any harsh herbs or anything like that. However, sage is a good one, but you still need to be careful and make sure you know your herbs well before you use them. Depending on if you're on any medications or, you know, your own health and things like that. But yeah, wisdom, purification, harmony, and movement. Potentially even, you know, like yoga or like movement that's very harmonious. Could be really good, like Pilates. And wisdom movements as well. Wisdom traditions. The next cards I'm going to pull from for you are the Nature Speak Oracle. And we have Cedar, Protection on the bottom of the deck. Then we have Rainbow, Hidden Gift. And that's linked to the Sage. So you'll discover some kind of hidden gift this month. Marshland, Transition and Change. So there's some transition and change with this peace and grounding. And then Forest, Awaken Your Magic. And this is linked to the Pine Tree, Vitality, Longevity, and Perseverance. So those things will awaken your magic. The last cards I'm going to pull from for the month for you are Geraldton Wax, Assertiveness. So these are the Australian wildflower cards. The first one for you is Waratah, Survival. Cooktown Orchid, Attitude, and Rosella Flower, Strength. So the first card, Waratah, which is linked to this hidden gift. So survival is a hidden gift, that's for sure. So the Waratah is the state emblem of New South Wales, native to the coastal mid to south New South Wales. Also, there is a white Waratah as well. This specifically is about the red one. So the energy of the red Waratah assists in bursting through stagnation with new insight, power, and passionate energy. Inner strength is highlighted and connections with life purpose, new beginnings, and even new passions and love. Take note of any new ideas that come forward at this time as they are important and most definitely contain the seeds of future successes. You can also be certain that you have the capacity to overcome current obstacles and to take control of the situation. Courage is indicated, so you might have to step up and be brave. Stop looking for answers and relying on assistance from the outside, because really you do have all you need within. As a healer, Waratah is a wonderful strengthener of the mind, bringing clarity to thought and decision making. Waratah's challenge is not to repeat past mistakes or become overconfident. Then we have Cooktown Orchid. Attitude. It's the floral emblem of Queensland. Its natural habitat is far north Queensland's coastal forests. Attitude plays such a big part in much of life and what we hope to change, create, and inspire. But sometimes we fail to put into practice what we know. Cooktown Orchid illuminates the causes as being directly connected with attitudes. A simple shift will move mountains right now. This can also be a nod that you are on the right track and an affirmation that your attitude is what is getting you the results you are enjoying. Cooktown Orchid also indicates alternative health answers and the ability to change your thoughts surrounding situations. The challenge of Cooktown Orchid is indecision, negative attitudes, and illogical thinking that hinder progress. As a healer, Cooktown Orchid is a wonderful supporter for those working with inner self-healing methods and for those with rebellious, counterproductive tendencies. Wow. Okay, and that's to do with this transition and change. So there's some link with this attitude, with this transition and change. So maybe, you aren't quite adjusted to this transition and change, but it's an attitude that needs adjusting. And then the last one is the rosella flower, which symbolizes strength. So it's from the eastern coast and far northern Queensland to the south coast of New South Wales. Strength begins within. Rosella flower is showing the areas that need strengthening and asks you to look within for those answers, an opening up of that which you never knew could be possible. New heights attained and a renewed vigor for life and projects. It all begins with strength at the core and a realization that this is what needs working on right now. Step up and be heard, and do not waver in your intentions. Match action, voice and mind with conviction. The challenge of Rosella is not opening up and being too fearful of failure. Overextension of resources must be watched as well. As a healer, Rosella aids hypertension and is a great all-round energy booster. So that is your cards for the month. However, when it comes to the astrological musings for the month, there is a bit going on. So currently we do still have the your ruler Neptune in your own sign, which is huge. All true sky Pisces have been and will be going through significant developments throughout this transit. It's been going on for quite a while now. I think it went in around 22, and it will be there for ages because Pisces is a really big sign in the true sky. So, and also for the next, I think it's till about 2033, there will be this Uranus, Neptune, Pluto interaction going on until about then as well. So there's a lot of energies being, ignited at this time. And also Saturn is still in True Sky Pisces, and it will be there for quite some time because, like I said, True Sky Pisces is a lot bigger than in all the other zodiacs. So I think it's actually the biggest sign. True Sky Pisces and Virgo are the biggest signs in the sky, in the True Sky system. So the Saturn in Pisces obviously brings, a lot of, it can bring some heavy energy, but also to do with the responsibility, which I did kind of see here with this Knight of Discs, the husbandry, and then also the restriction, the Five of Discs, because Saturn, even though it's linked with wealth and abundance, the god, Saturn's energies are restriction. And then there's quite a lot of Pentacles in the main spread here at the moment for you. Also, the transit of Pluto through True Sky astrology being in Capricorn is also interacting with that, like Neptune and Saturn, it has been. And that also, it brings that, because the Saturn is in Pisces, but then Saturn's ruler is Capricorn, and then Pluto is in Capricorn, it links them. And so obviously Capricorn's an earth sign. However, Pluto is that real transformative sign, and it's often like not seen. It's like an inner transformation. So that's really interesting for Pisces, because obviously, Saturn, it doesn't hate being in Pisces, but it's not that comfortable, because Pisces is a little bit, they go with the flow. It's that mutable energy, whereas Saturn's traditionally Capricorn, it's that cardinal. It's likes to more be in that leadership kind of position. So it has to let go a bit more in the Pisces. So there is a little bit of not friction there. I wouldn't say it's even friction, because I feel like Saturn just kind of makes maybe Pisces be a bit more responsible if they can. Which is interesting. In that last card, it was kind of talking about, the middle card with the attitude. Yes, the attitude adjustment. That almost was reminding me, it's almost like it's saying to Pisces, come on, stand up straight, walk in a line, like, that kind of thing, like attitude adjustment. Which sometimes you do need to do that, sometimes to get through, to function in the best way. You do need to, pull yourself in line. So also we have currently Uranus and True Sky Taurus, which could be trining sextiling your Pisces placements. Same with the Pluto. The Pluto could be sextiling your Pisces placements. And the Sun currently is still in True Sky Taurus, which, could be sextiling your Pisces. And then we also have, at the moment, quite a few signs in planets in Gemini. So we have Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter. In fact, today we have the Venus-Jupiter conjunction. It's in True Sky Gemini, however. In the Vedics, they're saying it's in Cancer. In the True Sky, it's actually still in Gemini, and it's exact tomorrow here. So we're kind of a day ahead. So we get things on different days. So that could be challenging your Pisces placements as well. So it is interesting, I think, here with the Venus and Jupiter conjoined in Gemini, if it is challenging to me, that's a very intense combination in Gemini. So Gemini is it's to do with the mind and the mental, communication. It's even linked with like siblings and neighbors and, comings and goings and travel and, the god Mercury. However, having these two benefic planets conjoined in it, I feel like there could be even a negative side to it, and that, a Pisces might not gel so well with that, because maybe they are a bit, they go with the flow and they're more gentle and that kind of thing, whereas Gemini is a bit more sharp. They're, their communication styles really different to a Pisces. So there just might be a bit of conflicting energies there, which I think I did see even with the health at the top here, which was talking about health. And then there was like this sacrificial energy, which maybe was making me think, depending on your situation, of course, but potentially having Venus and Jupiter conjoined could make you a little bit hungry, like, and I'm not just meaning for food, but even just for like good experiences. It's a bit of a kind of hedonistic energy, even though it's in Gemini, which is an air sign. Yeah, it has an intense energy to it. And I think a Pisces can get a bit lost in some of these things. So yeah, so that's obviously, I think with the sacrifice there, it was kind of saying to purge the things out of your life that maybe aren't so good for your health. And then, yeah, I think that's probably the most of it. Today, the moon actually did move into Pisces. So we will have the moon in Pisces for the next few days. So that could be really significant for you too. It would be conjoining, your Pisces placements either today, tomorrow, or the next day. But yeah, I hope you have a fantastic month ahead. And if this reading did resonate, it's not going to resonate the whole thing, but if aspects of it resonated and then other bits didn't, those bits are probably for other people that it will resonate for, because it's a general reading for True Sky Pisces, which obviously is a big sign, so would incorporate a lot of people. But yeah, if you could like, comment, and or subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. For everyone that already has, thank you so much. And yeah, take care. I'll be back again soon. Bye.